Get back, Morrison. Huck, Huck. Nice.
As related to the turning rule, it is fairly simple. If the blue player has the ball and he or she is in lane 2 and the red player is in lane 1, the blue player may turn the ball to the right. We do not call a foul on the red player's favor when the red player jumps from lane 1 to lane 3. The opposite may occur where the blue player has the ball in lane 2, the red player is in lane 3. If the blue player turns the ball under his or her horse's neck, we do not call a foul on the blue player when the red player jumps from lane 3 to lane 1. If the blue player has the ball in lane 2 and the red player is in lane 2, the blue player may not turn the ball underneath the horse's neck or to his offside. Our rules simply state that if a player makes an abrupt line change in front of an opponent, then that player has fouled. It is not a foul to turn the ball. It is a foul to turn the ball under certain conditions. The difference between turning the ball and running the turn is the gap. When we turn the ball, the gap between the blue player and the red player is closing. When we run the turn, we use more room, and that gap, the speed of the two players, stays the same. Therefore, there is no danger to the red player on this play. If the blue player checks down to turn the ball and that gap closes and the blue player turns either way, he or she has endangered the red player by not allowing the red player to clear. The quick line change for the arena and the outdoor are virtually the same rules. So if a player does turn the ball, creating a dangerous situation from an oncoming player, yes, it is a foul in the arena as well as outdoor.
Okay, we can see that the white player has the right of way here, and the dark player is coming down the near side or almost falling in directly behind, and the white player just simply turns right across in front. Where's that black player going to go? Foul on white. There again, what were his, did he have other options? Yeah, he could have hit a back shot. He could have flipped it, allowed the black player to clear, and then gone on the new line. Running the turn here in this case, he probably could have, but there's not much room on the field in this case to do it. However, he might have been able to hit a little bit of a tail shot. Actually, his goal is over to his left, so even a neck shot would have eliminated that play. Result, spot hit for black, penalty 5.
Okay, moving on to the next play.
Okay, here we have the player in the dark jersey just playing, the ball hops over his stick, or maybe he gets hooked by a white player. The second player coming from behind just forgets about the turning rule and turns right in front of an oncoming dark-shirted player. Is there danger? Yes. And I tell you, folks, in a lot of these videos, we're counting about 3 strides from when the player coming from behind gets to where the ball was, and the umpires are blowing this a foul, especially at these speeds. So 3 strides is not really enough room to turn the ball in front of an oncoming opponent, period. There again, did this player have other options? Yep, he sure did. So foul on white, and this result is a penalty 4 for the black team. Okay, this play here is quite interesting, and this white player right here is on the right of way. Probably if this player would have jetted forward and then turned the ball about right in here, he might have had enough room. But what he does is he doesn't change the line at all. He checks up, hits the ball forward, just kind of turns his horse around, rakes the ball back, and no line change whatsoever. So actually, it would be just like if he didn't hit the ball at all. In other words, there's a player right on the line, and all he does is just spin around on the line without changing it at all. So this is a foul, very easy to understand, and that's what we've tried to do, is make some easy plays on these videos, since it is our first webinar. And there again, spot hit for black. This play here is very common, especially when the ball is to the left of the goal. And we can see the goal post there. The goal is to the white player's right. For some reason, we don't hit those open shots, especially at that angle. We like to turn the ball and go to goal. We don't see this play quite so much on the left-hand side of the goal, because players many times hit a neck shot or work the ball in at a slight angle. But right here, we can see this white player turns almost 90 degrees in front of an oncoming player for the speed at which they are going. And there again, the relative speeds of these two mounts are not anywhere even close. The player coming from behind is going so much faster. The gap is closing. Does white create danger? Absolutely. Result, spot hit for blue. This play here, we did have a question on. However, we look back, we see the red player is in the right of way and going to the ball. We see his teammate come from behind and take out an opponent. However, the red player doesn't see the other opponent coming from behind, and thus fouls the second dark-shirted player, not the first one, but the second. Let's say that and a question was asked on this play if the I believe it was the second, if this second black player who ends up getting fouled is not there, would this first red player have fouled the other black player? And the question, we could say if, and yeah, he could have, had his teammate not taken that player out of the play. So we look back, we think we have enough time, sometimes we don't, and the gap closes, and thus we are the ones creating the danger, and thus a foul. Okay, we see the dark player on the right away here, and right here he just turns the ball right dead in front of a oncoming opponent. Now these plays are really pretty easy. If you don't think that it's hard to tell whether they're turning in front of somebody or not, just look at where they end up. If you know the line of the ball, then look to see where the player ends up, which side of the line and how far by the time they end up turning the ball. This player is straight. He's starting. We can tell the body language on his horse, and his horse just ends up going back the other way. So we know that there's a foul, there's a crossing on this play. And white gets an advantage of a penalty 4. Play 7, and I believe we had a write-in on this play here. And I know that that viewer is online now, so we hope to answer his question. But the question here was, the white player his horse is leaping, and he does attempt a back shot. And the question was, since he attempted the back shot, should a foul be called? I think that pretty much summarizes it, and he could correct me later if I'm wrong. But the answer to that question is yes, it's still a foul. And actually the player is not required to check here. But look where he ends up after he misses the ball. He could have stayed straight. And probably if he would have stayed straight, there wouldn't have been a foul on this play. But when he misses it and turns back, this is just a dead foul. I'd also like to remind that even though he attempted a back shot, doesn't mean that he doesn't foul. Because many times we have a player that doesn't flatten out. They might do a near side back shot in front of an oncoming player, and that's still a foul. And this play here, as Kim is telling us, okay, we're back to the first play. Very good, Kim. That's perfect. Right here's where the foul is. And how about if we have a player up front and they just flip around in front of us and do a tail shot? Whether they attempted the foul shot, the back shot, excuse me, or missed the back shot is immaterial. The required margin for safety of the oncoming opponent coming from behind is the key factor in these turning plays. Okay, on to the next. I hope that answered our viewer's question. This play here has an opponent on his near side. He turns the ball to the right, perfectly legitimate play. And as we mentioned earlier, there might not be a foul on the first turn. However, when he comes back here and now he turns the ball the second time in front of an oncoming opponent, and there again, we can see where he ended up, foul on this play. There again, did he have other options? Yeah, he could have hit a back shot. He could have ran the turn, or he could have flipped the ball out to his offside, allowed the white player coming from behind to clear, and then go on the new line. And as we could see, there's nobody else coming behind this white player, so flipping the ball, allowing the white player to clear might have been a good play. But certainly not turning the ball in front of the white player. 3/4 of a horse length there, not enough room. And a costly penalty for turning. When we talk about running the turn, and we had a nice slide that Kim put together for us, this is an example of running the turn. We can see the gap between the two players. There is not an abrupt line change, but more of a gradual line change. We can see in this play, at no time is the dark-shirted player in any danger. And he can adjust to the play by coming from behind. And there again, relative speeds of the two mounts are pretty much the same. There's not an abrupt line change, and this is just a good play. And there again, that white player uses up about 30 yards in turning the ball. So that's what we mean by when we talk about running the turn.